Next on the Shield, Valparaiso University paves the way for a new science facility.
Plus, change in the church. We look at how crucial it is to understanding different points of view.
Plus, today's the first day of fall. When are we going to start seeing fall-like temperatures? How that and much more in my fall forecast coming up. But first, this edition of the Shield starts right now.
Thank you for joining us on The Shield. I'm Katie Nickolaou.
And I'm Carly Newton.
We begin tonight with the groundbreaking for the new science facility. On Thursday last week, students and science faculty gathered on the site during chapel break. The new facility, which will be located between Meyer Hall and Christman Hall, will house many new laboratory spaces for biology and chemistry students. It was also said that this move will allow for the renovation of Neal's Science Center so that anatomy and physics students will also receive improved lab spaces. After a blessing, campus leaders shared with students details about the facility as well as its unique purpose.
This facility will encompass approximately 55,000 square feet of space devoted mostly to wet labs, collaborative laboratories, and workspaces for faculty and students. The facility is designed intentionally to reflect the university's commitment to STEM education and to vibrant interdisciplinary teaching, research, and collaborative exploration.
So as we enjoy this new facility, in the years and the generations to come, may we and our successors always remember this intrinsic relationship between faith and science in our common pursuit of truth.
The facility is expected to be completed by the fall of 2017.
Dr. Matthew Becker, a professor of theology here at Valpo, has strong opinions on the role of women in the church. Those opinions and others are what led to dismissal from the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod over the summer. This has prompted a serious and respectful conversation about change in the church. In this first of a two-part special, Maria Bruno talks with Pastor Tim and Dr. Becker about how we go about discussing and dealing with the major differences we have.
At Valparaiso University, students come from a variety of backgrounds, including different Christian traditions. I talked to Professor Becker and Pastor Jim about how the university and its students can talk about these differences.
Valparaiso University, as a university in service to the church, needs to create free space for responsible inquiry into controversial matters. And all of the virtues that go into the university, all of the academic virtues of humility, of responsibility, of listening to the other, of making responsible inquiry into these matters, all of those need to be encouraged here.
I think that if Valpo is going to do what it ought to be doing, it is going to work even harder than it currently is to help students and members of the rest of the members of the community figure out how to listen to one another and be in conversation with one another in order to learn from each other across difference.
Sometimes listening is a valuable contribution to the conversation.
It's about creating space in which people can actually hear one another and run the risk of changing their own perspectives and being changed by and contributing to another person's perspective being changed in respectful dialogue.
I think we all need to, those of us who are Christian, need to recognize that people of good faith can disagree about these matters and at the end of the day still recognize each other as brothers and sisters in Christ.
There's also a potential for these conversations to benefit the community here on campus.
I think there's really a need for that to increasingly create that kind of environment here. Because I think that the university's mission depends upon it, and I think that there's a longing among students to figure out how to do that.
And now an update on a story we brought you last week here on The Shield. The VU robotics team kicked off their second competitive season last Sunday against Notre Dame. The gym was packed with support for Valpo as they faced off with the Fighting Irish. The 11 robots for the Crusaders were able to maintain a lead they earned early on in the match and cruise to an 88-42 victory. The Crusaders remain undefeated through their first game of the year. Following the game, those in attendance were able to come down to the floor to learn how to operate the robots.
The homeless Jesus statue that was installed over the summer continues to grab the attention of students here on campus. With more on the story, here's Will Haney.
The installation of the homeless Jesus statue over the summer sparked plenty of on-campus conversations. It's hard to find a student that doesn't have a funny story about the double take they did upon first seeing the statue.
Me and 3 other friends, we were walking around because I was trying to show someone where Dick Meyer was. And we walked past homeless Jesus, and I was like, please don't have nightmares tonight. Please don't have nightmares tonight. Like, when I think of Jesus, I think of like white and gold, heaven. When I think of darkness, I think of things like hell and the devil, so that was kind of scary.
It's showing how do we as a society view homeless more in a negative light, but when someone comes, it's actually Jesus sleeping on that bench, and it's absolutely wonderful.
With all the student dialogue I was hearing, I went to speak to Greg Hertzlieb, curator of the Priewe Museum of Art.
I guess it's knowing that you can approach it, you can disagree with it, you can love it, and it's all okay. I mean, in other words, the dialogue is healthy, and when it comes right down to it, it's really about having fun.
Going to a university where art is often in the forefront, it's interesting to hear the different perspectives that people have on it. Whether it's a group of 20 life-size figures, a hooded Jesus on a bench, or a huge butterfly, art speaks at Valparaiso University. Like art or not, the discussions that these works drive are shaping our campus for the better. For VUTV, I'm Will Haney.
All right, James, what do we have coming up this week for weather?
Well, thank you for that, Katie. For the weather coming up, we're going to have some above average temperatures like we've been seeing, and plus today has been the official first day of fall. So as we take a look at our weather graphic here, today is the first day of fall. So today it's the autumn season. So that means we have equal daylight, equal sunlight. So taking a look here at the graphic, happy fall. It's a beautiful look we have out the window. Today's sunrise came at 6:36 this morning, and the sun is setting to 6:44 p.m. So that roughly equates to, about 12 hours of sunlight. So then coming in the full forecast, we're going to look at see how long the temperatures are going to be staying above average. So Katie and Carly, for now, back to you guys.
Next on the Shield, Chile recovers after an 8.3 magnitude earthquake strikes off its coast.
Plus, a historical meeting at our nation's capital as thousands turn out to see the Pope.
Good morning, Valparaiso University. What's a better way to start your day than with a new jam? And WVUR has just what you need.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it... If dying young won't change your mind, baby, right now.
Broadcasting sports, news, weather, and music, on air, online, and on campus. WVUR is my jam.
On a campus plagued with terrible weather, Valpo students suffer from boredom with no motivation to leave their room. They begin to search for free movies and stumble upon Valpo's new free movie streaming website, where you get unlimited free access to recent movies like Despicable Me 2 and Jobs at the tips of your fingers. So if you're feeling bored, then don't wait. Grab some friends, find a seat, and enjoy a movie on movies.valpo.edu.
On behalf of the American people, it is my great honor and privilege to welcome you to the United States of America.
President Obama extending a warm welcome to Pope Francis on his first trip to the United States.
We see a living example of Jesus' teachings, a leader whose moral authority comes not just through words, but also through deeds.
The Pope thanked his hosts and the American people for their hospitality.
I'm deeply grateful for your welcome in the name of the all Americans.
Neither leader shied away from tough issues in their remarks.
Climate change is a problem we can no longer be left to a future generation.
You remind us that the Lord's most powerful message is mercy. From the refugee who flees war-torn lands to the immigrant who leaves home in search of a better life.
In their one-on-one meeting following the ceremony, the two discussed common concerns like climate change, poverty, and religious freedom. A sea of screaming faithful filled the streets of the nation's capital as the Pope made his way to St. Matthew's Cathedral. The enthusiastic crowds weren't as close as the pontiff likes them to be.
He wishes now that he could get out of that Pope-mobile and really wade into that crowd, as we have seen before, but of course, for security purposes, he cannot.
Reporting in Washington, I'm Polo Sandoval.
The attorney for the woman alleging that hockey star Patrick Kane sexually assaulted her claims evidence in the case was tampered with. Kane is under investigation for alleged sexual assault that occurred last month near his home in Buffalo, New York. The alleged victim's lawyer told reporters the original evidence bag in the case was anonymously delivered to his client's mother's home. He said that the bag was authentic and was tampered with.
Gary Ridgway, a notorious serial killer, will be returned to Walla Walla State Penitentiary in Washington State. CNN's Graham Johnson reports.
Most of us would just as soon forget that he's on the face of this earth.
Murdy Winston's 19-year-old daughter, Tracy, was among the 49 women and girls Gary Ridgway confessed to murdering.
She was a really loving girl.
Today, she learned Ridgway will be returned to the state penitentiary in Walla Walla from the federal Supermax in Colorado.
I was overjoyed.
In May, the State Department of Corrections quietly moved Ridgway, later citing the high level of security and personnel needed to house him. Corrections officials never notified Green River Killer investigators or relatives of the victims.
I couldn't understand why the parole board or whoever was making allowances for him.
On Monday, Congressman and former Sheriff Dave Reichert, who investigated Ridgway, joined a news conference with another victim's family criticizing the move to Colorado.
There's something wrong within the Department of Correction.
Late today, corrections officials cited the backlash when announcing they will return Ridgway to Washington, in part so he'll be closer if investigators need to ask about more unsolved murders.
This is where he belongs. This is where he did his crime. This is where he has to atone to his maker.
Officials surveying the damage left behind by an 8.3 magnitude earthquake that struck off the coast of Chile Wednesday night said the toll could have been much higher. So far, the Chilean government claims that 600 have been left homeless and only 13 have died in the earthquake. The city of Cumigo was one of the hardest areas hit, where a 15.6-foot wave came the largest to land on Chile's shores. The rebuilding process has now just begun in this port city. That does it for national news. Storm Shield meteorologist James Priewe has your forecast when we come right back. Stick with us.
Good morning, Valparaiso University. What's the better way to start your day than with a new jam? And WVUR has just what you need.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it...
If Daniel won't change your mind, baby,
Broadcasting sports, news, weather, and music on air, online, and on campus. WVUR is my.
I'd say it's the first day of fall, it's the fall equinox. Plus, we've been seeing above average temperatures. How long are those going to last? Plus, we're going to have spectacular weather for this homecoming weekend. So like we said today, it's the first day of fall. This means that we have equal sunlight, equal daylight hours. So our sunrise was at 6:36 a.m. this morning, and our sunset, it's sitting around 6:44, so about equal hours. So get out there and enjoy your day. So taking a look today, our high temperature today was 81 degrees and our low got down to 54. Right around 72 degrees is our average temperature, so we're slightly above. And the record from 2010 was 90 degrees, so we were 9 degrees away from reaching that. So taking a look at our current temperatures around here. Oh, looking at the radar. So looking at the radar, we do have some storms out in Iowa, but back here in Illinois, we do have cloud-free skies going to Thursday. And as we go into Friday morning, the storms are staying way out west, and we're still clear. Then as we go into Friday night for the fireworks, and as we go to Saturday morning for the football game, we are still clear with no skies in the area. So taking a look at our regional temperatures, we're currently 67 degrees here in Valpo, and we have 70s all the way back into Illinois. So taking a look at our futurecast for the temperatures, we are currently at 66 Wednesday at 7 p.m. with upper 60s all the way across the board. And as we go into motion into tomorrow morning and until about 10 p.m., we will be about 68 degrees here in Valpo, 70 in Joliet. And then as we go through our day into Thursday afternoon, temperatures into Thursday night, temperatures will be staying right around the lower 70s for most of the country, for the most of the area. And as we go into Friday, the temperatures will be going back up to about 66 degrees for here, 70 back for Joliet. And same, it's going. So for tonight, we'll be 53 degrees clear. Skies a little bit chilly. Then as we go until tomorrow, it's going to be high at 77, mostly cloudy skies with the winds at 5-10 miles per hour. Taking a look at our 5-day forecast, it is a beautiful forecast we're going to be having here. Highs in the upper 70s as we go through Saturday. It's great football weather, you guys. And as we go into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday next week, we'll be in the upper 70s as well. So it'll be great weather for us all to have, so great homecoming weather.
Definitely, I'm really looking forward to going to the game.
It should be great weather and mostly cloudy skies, mostly sunny skies out there.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic weather.
Yes, it will be.
All right, well, thanks, James. Coming up after the break, Aimee Heyden has an update on your Crusaders athletics from this past week. Stay with us.
Welcome back to The Shield. I'm Aimee Heyden with this week's Crusader Sports Update. For many Valpo programs, consistently putting together winning seasons is something that occurs year in and year out. However, for the football program, this has been a team that's been in a rebuilding stage ever since Dave Cicchini took over the head coaching job before last season. After having just 3 wins in the 4 seasons before Cicchini took over, the program put together a 4-win campaign last year. Following a tough start to this year with a pair of tough road games, the Crusaders looked to get back on track this past weekend against the College of Faith. Right off the bat, Valpo was on a mission with a pair of touchdowns in just the first 3 minutes of this game. Ryan Clark, who started the game due to both Scott Stahl and Dalton Stokes being out with concussions, played well, throwing for 135 yards and 2 touchdowns. Valpo had a wild rushing attack in this game as well, rushing for 333 yards as a unit and 9 touchdowns. Defensively, both Brandon Riley and Christian Campbell had interceptions in what ended up being an 86-0 Crusader win. Although Valpo won, this game will not end up counting as their season record or stats, as College of Faith was ruled as an ineligible NCAA opponent. Valpo has their first Pioneer League opener this weekend against San Diego. It is homecoming weekend for the Crusaders, and that game will begin at 12:30 p.m. right here on Brownfield on Saturday. The men's soccer team battled back from a scoreless draw against Detroit over the weekend to defeat number 18 Western Michigan. Goals by both Isaiah Madrid and Jordan Idu, and Nico Campbell's 4th shutout of the season gave the Crusaders the 2-0 win and their 3rd straight victory over a ranked opponent. The Crusaders will be back in action this weekend at home against Cleveland State, that game beginning at 7 p.m. The women's soccer team struck first against Wright State this past weekend, but the game ended up in a 1-1 draw. Rita Craven scored her 4th goal of the year in the tie. The Crusaders will look for their first Horizon League win this upcoming Saturday at home, or at Youngstown State. The volleyball team suffered a tough loss against Indiana State this past weekend in 5 sets. They will look to right the ship in their Horizon League opener this Friday at Northern Kentucky. Well, that's all I have for today. For more on all of your Valpo athletic news, log on to valpoathletics.com. Back to you.
Well, it certainly sounds like there was a lot that went on in the sports world this past weekend, Aimee. What can we expect for this week?
Well, of course, this weekend being homecoming, so San Diego coming here to Brownfield, like I said, on Saturday. And a big revenge game for the Crusaders, especially as last year they lost with that last-second Hail Mary by San Diego. So definitely a big revenge, and after the win last weekend, should be a big confidence boost for the team as well.
That should be. I saw them at practice earlier this week, and they looked very excited. They have so much energy, and I think they're ready to play.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, it should be a good game. So, and obviously with homecoming, all the excitement around it as well.
Definitely. Sounds exciting. And if you didn't catch it, the homecoming football game is at 12:30 p.m. on Saturday, and the men's soccer will follow it up at 7. And thank you again, Aimee. We'll be right back with a final look at your weather forecast after the break.
Good morning, Valparaiso University. What's a better way to start your day than with a new jam? And WVUR has just what you need.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it...
If dying young won't change your mind, baby,
Broadcasting sports, news, weather, and music on air, online, and on campus. WVUR is my jam.
For Northeasterners who are patiently waiting for their new iPhone 6s, their delivery might be postponed. Pope Francis's U.S. tour may cause an iPhone shipping delay. Due to the Pope's visit, roads are closed in Washington, D.C., and traffic has been rerouted. But it doesn't stop there. UPS deliveries have also been suspended in Philadelphia and New York, so the popular phone may not arrive on time for this Friday's release.
So, So, James, what does the weather look like for this next week?
Well, we're going to continue with what we've been seeing. Temperatures above average. Today we had a high of 81, which was 9 degrees above our normal time average. And going with that into the weekend, we're also going to have an above average temperatures and the upper 77 for tomorrow and Friday. And as we go into our homecoming game on Saturday, it's going to be 77 degrees, clear skies, sunny skies. It's going to be great weather. So get out there and enjoy some homecoming festivities.
Definitely. I've seen a lot of people across campus stringing up their hammocks between trees and just absolutely enjoying the weather. I think I might go out and buy one myself.
You definitely should. I actually got one from a friend this summer when she bought a new one. So it's great hammock weather, so get out there and just sit back and relax and soak up those suns while you can.
And with the homecoming weekend, definitely it's a nice time to relax and enjoy the weekend too.
Weather's going to be so much better than it was like 2 weeks ago when it was pouring and raining.
I hope you enjoy your weekend. For everyone here at the Shield, I would like to say have a great evening and thank you for tuning in.